In 2022, more than 200 Washingtonians relocated to Texas, making Washington the second largest source of new residents for the Lone Star State. Why are so many Washingtonians increasingly choosing Texas as their new home? Let's explore some of the reasons why Washingtonians are saying adios to the Evergreen State and moving to Texas. 9. Washington homelessness is alarmingly high. According to a 2024 report by World Population Review, Washington has an estimated homeless population of 175,211, equating to roughly 65.8 homeless individuals per 10,000 residents. In contrast, Texas, despite its larger population, has an estimated homeless population of 103,432, resulting in a rate of approximately 40.4 per 10,000 residents. 8. High cost of living. When it comes to cost of living, Washington and Texas paint two contrasting pictures. Washington leans towards the expensive side, while Texas boasts a reputation for affordability. Housing forms a significant chunk of most budgets. In Seattle, Washington, the median home price sits around $713,600, compared to Dallas, Texas, where it's closer to $208,700. This translates to a substantial difference in monthly mortgage payments or rental costs. Imagine a young couple starting their life together. In Seattle, their dream home might be a distant reality, demanding significant compromises. In Dallas, homeownership becomes a more attainable goal. Daily necessities also paint a contrasting picture. Groceries and clothing typically cost 13% more in Washington compared to the national average, while Texas falls below this mark. A family's grocery bill stretches further in Texas, allowing for more wiggle room in the budget. However, it's important to consider the flip side. Washington's higher cost of living often reflects higher wages. The median household income in Seattle is significantly higher than in Dallas, at $97,185 compared to $54,747. 7. High tax burden. Washington falls under the high burden category. It boasts one of the nation's highest sales tax rates, averaging a combined state and local rate of over 9.8%. This means a significant portion of every purchase is taken as tax. For instance, buying a $1,000 appliance translates to nearly $100 in taxes. While Washington has no state income tax, high earners are subject to a capital gains tax, further impacting their overall tax liability. Texas, in contrast, is a haven for low-tax enthusiasts. The state famously lacks an income tax, allowing residents to keep a larger chunk of their earnings. Sales tax in Texas sits at a respectable 8%, but unlike Washington, many localities don't impose additional sales taxes. This means Texans generally pay less tax on everyday purchases. However, the story doesn't end there. Washington's high sales tax revenue funds a robust social safety net. Texas, on the other hand, relies heavily on property taxes to fund public services. This can be a double-edged sword. While homeowners may initially enjoy lower upfront taxes, property taxes can rise significantly over time, especially in areas with high demand. 6. High crime rates. Crime rates are a major concern for many Americans when choosing a place to live. Washington holds the unfortunate distinction of having the highest property crime rate in the nation. In 2022, there were an estimated 9,759 property crimes per 100,000 residents. Seattle, Washington's largest city, has historically grappled with property crime due to factors like poverty and homelessness. In contrast, Texas boasts a significantly lower overall crime rate. While not without its issues, Texas' violent crime rate sits below the national average. In cities like Dallas, residents report feeling a lower risk of violent crime compared to Seattle. 5. Inflation. Washington faces a perfect storm for inflation. Firstly, the state boasts a high cost of living. Housing, a major expense, has seen significant inflation. Seattle's median home price rose by 12% in 2023 compared to the national average of 6%. This translates to a larger chunk of household income being squeezed by rising housing costs. Texas, on the other hand, seems to be weathering the inflation storm a bit better. The state's lower cost of living, particularly in housing, provides some buffer. While Texas has seen inflation in housing prices, the rise hasn't been as dramatic as in Washington. Additionally, Texas' booming energy sector has benefited from the global rise in energy prices. This economic engine has helped create jobs and potentially offset some of the inflationary pressures on Texans. However, it's important to acknowledge that Texas isn't immune. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, for example, saw a concerning 5.3% inflation rate in 2023. This highlights that even within Texas, inflation can vary based on factors like location and industry dependence. John, a software engineer in Seattle, is feeling the pinch. His rent has increased by 8% in the past year, eating into his disposable income. Groceries seem to cost more each week, forcing him to cut back on non-essentials. In contrast, Sarah, a teacher in Austin, Texas, hasn't experienced such a drastic impact. While her grocery bill has gone up, her rent hasn't increased as sharply as John's. Additionally, her husband works in the energy sector, which has seen a rise in wages due to the current market conditions. 4. Poverty. Washington, with a poverty rate of around 17% according to 2022 data, faces a more significant challenge than Texas, which sits at roughly 15.9% for the same year. One key factor is the cost of living. Washington, particularly its urban centers like Seattle, boasts a booming tech industry that fuels high wages. However, this very success comes at a cost. Housing prices in Seattle are significantly higher than in Texas metros like Dallas or Houston. This creates a situation where even those with decent wages can struggle to afford basic necessities, pushing them closer to poverty. 3. Income inequality. Income inequality, the gap between rich and poor, plagues many societies. In the United States, this disparity varies significantly between states. Washington and Texas, despite being geographically close, offer contrasting landscapes of income distribution. Washington leans towards higher inequality. Its booming tech sector in Seattle concentrates wealth amongst a select few. The high cost of living, particularly housing, pushes a significant portion of the population towards economic insecurity. Studies by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities reveal a stark difference. The top 5% of Washington households earn over 11 times more than the bottom 20%. Texas, on the other hand, presents a more mixed picture. While lacking a dominant tech industry, its oil and gas sector also concentrates wealth. However, Texas has a lower cost of living and a higher minimum wage compared to Washington. Additionally, its right-to-work laws weaken labor unions, potentially impacting wages for some workers. While data suggests Texas has higher inequality than the national average, it appears to be less pronounced than Washington. 2. Traffic congestion. Washington, D.C., a hub for government and international organizations, suffers from a high concentration of commuters. The limited space within the city center forces a large volume of vehicles onto a relatively small network of highways, like I-95 and I-66. These arteries become parking lots during rush hour, as illustrated by a 2023 INRIX report that found D.C. drivers lost an average of 83 hours a year stuck in traffic. The sheer number of cars vying for limited space creates a domino effect, with one minor accident rippling outwards and causing delays for miles. Texas, on the other hand, presents a different challenge. Its sprawling metropolitan areas, like Houston and Dallas-Fort Worth, are defined by a car-dependent culture. The vast distances between job centers and residential areas necessitate extensive highway networks. While these highways may seem less congested at first glance, the sheer volume of traffic spread out over longer distances translates into significant travel times. The 2023 INRIX report placed Dallas-Fort Worth at 14th on the list of most congested cities, with drivers losing an average of 56 hours a year. However, unlike DC, the congestion tends to be more spread out, with bottlenecks occurring around major intersections and construction zones. For instance, rush hour on the Dallas North Tollway can be a slow crawl, but side streets might offer some reprieve. Public transportation options also play a role. Washington, D.C. boasts a well-developed metro system, which offers an alternative to battling traffic. While not perfect, it can significantly reduce commute times, especially for those traveling into the city center. Texas, on the other hand, generally has less robust public transportation options, forcing many residents to rely on their cars. This further exacerbates congestion on major highways. 1. The rising cost of childcare. Washington paints a stark picture. According to the World Population Review, the annual cost of childcare in Washington averages $13,404, which translates to roughly $1,117 per month. This figure is significantly higher than the national average of $11,582 as reported by Procare Software. Seattle, a major city in Washington, further exemplifies the issue. Winnie, a childcare resource website, states that monthly costs in Seattle can easily surpass $1,000, placing a heavy burden on working families. Texas, on the other hand, offers some relief. The annual childcare cost in Texas sits at $11,136, according to Child Care Aware of America. This translates to a monthly average of around $928, a significant difference compared to Washington. For instance, in Austin, a major Texas city, childcare costs can be closer to $800 per month, showcasing a potentially more manageable expense for parents. Let's consider a real-life example. Imagine a family with a toddler in each state. In Washington, annual childcare costs for 2 toddlers could reach $26,808, leaving a significant dent in a household income. In Texas, the same scenario would cost $22,272, offering a potential saving of over $4,500 annually. This difference could be crucial for affording basic necessities or saving for the future. The Lone Star's bright future. Texas, the land of wide open spaces, barbecue, and Stetsons, has long held a place in the American imagination. But beyond the romanticized image lies a state poised for an even brighter future. Fueled by a booming economy, a diverse population, and a culture of innovation, Texas is on track to become a major player on the national and international stage. One of the key drivers of Texas' future is its economic strength. The state boasts a low cost of living, a business-friendly environment, and a lack of income tax, attracting corporations and entrepreneurs from across the country. This has led to a booming job market, particularly in sectors like technology, energy, and healthcare. Texas is also a leader in the energy sector, with vast oil and gas reserves and a growing renewable energy industry. This diversification ensures a stable and adaptable energy future. Beyond economics, Texas' future is shaped by its vibrant and diverse population. The state is experiencing a significant influx of young professionals and families, drawn by the opportunities and welcoming atmosphere. This diversity fosters a spirit of innovation and creativity, essential ingredients for continued growth. Additionally, Texas' strong Hispanic heritage adds a unique cultural dimension, enriching the state's social fabric and attracting international investment. Innovation is another pillar of Texas' bright future. The state is home to a growing number of research institutions, universities, and tech hubs like Austin's Silicon Hills. This concentration of intellectual capital fosters groundbreaking research and development in various fields, from medicine to space exploration. This commitment to innovation ensures Texas remains at the forefront of technological advancements, propelling economic growth and societal progress. However, the bright future of Texas is not without its challenges. The state's rapid growth necessitates careful infrastructure development to accommodate the influx of people. Additionally, ensuring educational opportunities for all Texans is crucial to maintain a skilled workforce. Furthermore, addressing environmental concerns, particularly water management and sustainable energy development, will be vital for long-term success. In conclusion, Texas stands at the precipice of a truly remarkable future. Its economic might, diverse population, and commitment to innovation position the state as a leader in the 21st century. By addressing its challenges proactively, Texas can ensure its future remains as bright as the stars on its flag. The Lone Star State is not just a place of cowboys and rodeos anymore, it's a dynamic and thriving region with the potential to shape the future of the nation and beyond.